Imagine walking into a gallery where half the paintings were created by humans, and the other half by algorithms trained on millions of images. No labels. No hints. Just you, the work, and the question. When the art moves you, where did that creativity come from? Let's set the stage. When we say creativity, we usually mean a blend of novelty, value, and intent. Novelty means something meaningfully new. Value means it resonates, emotionally, practically, culturally. And intent means a conscious act of taste, choice, and judgment. Humans do this by living. We accumulate memories, contradictions, and feelings. We learn rules so that we know exactly when to break them. That ability to decide, to choose a direction and risk being wrong, is central to what we call creative. Now, shifting gears to how AI makes things. Modern AI tools don't feel the way a painter feels when mixing colors, or the way a musician aches a chord into existence. They learn patterns. They digest huge amounts of human-made work and build an internal map of how elements tend to go together. Then, when we prompt them, they assemble what is statistically likely to fit. The results can be stunning, coherent, surprising, sometimes beautiful. But they're ultimately a recombination of what already exists, filtered through probability. That doesn't make them trivial or even compelling. It just frames the question: is simulating creativity the same as being creative? Let's bring in a reality check. Researchers who compare AI-generated works with human works often find a subtle but important gap. For example, when they assess things like originality, fluency, and overall effectiveness, humans still edge out the machines, even as AI shows remarkable, creative potential. So yes, AI can produce compelling work. And also yes, when we lean into deeper qualities like voice, layered meaning, and emotional coherence over time, humans still tend to lead. With that context, let's move from theory to practice. In studios, classrooms, and production teams, the most interesting action isn't a duel, it's a duet. When artists treat AI as a collaborator, they use it to brainstorm variations, push past creative blocks, or draft quickly. Then they apply taste, judgment, and revision. Think of it as a loop. The machine suggests, the human curates, the machine explores, the human decides. This frees time from drudgery and gives more space for intent and meaning. The result isn't less human, it's often more focused on what only humans can add. Zooming out for a second, what happens to where creativity lives when AI is in the room? One way to see it, creativity becomes distributed. Part of it sits in the cultural dataset that trained the model, the long memory of art and language we've all made together. Part of it sits with the prompter who sets constraints, frames the problem, chooses what to keep, and edits. And part of it emerges in the interaction itself, in the back and forth experimentation, in the surprises that get caught and sharpened. In that sense, creativity doesn't disappear, it migrates. It moves from the brushstroke to the brief, from the chord to the composition of the process. Now let's talk about the human advantages that keep showing up. First, intentionality. Humans create with reasons that extend beyond the output, provoking a feeling, challenging a norm, honoring a memory, or healing a wound. Second, embodiment. Lived experience laces our choices. We don't just reference grief, we metabolize it. Third, moral imagination. We ask whether we should, not just whether we can. We critique power, interrogate sources, and take responsibility for what our work does in the world. Fourth, long-form coherence. We can sustain character, theme, and subtext across big arcs in ways that still elude machines. And finally, taste and courage. We dare to be specific, weird, or wrong. We risk. It's only fair to name the limits and risks that come with AI in creative fields. Derivativeness can creep in when models average across the past, nudging everything toward the mean. Authorship and credit get murky. Who owns an output? How do we acknowledge sources? And what do we owe living artists? Bias and harm can slip in through the data and repeat stereotypes unless we're intentional about countering them. And transparency matters. Audiences deserve to know whether a piece is human-made, AI-assisted, or largely AI-generated, and how those roles shape the result. These aren't footnotes. They directly affect trust, value, and culture. All that said, the upside is real when AI is used well. It can crack writer's block with a fresh angle. It can serve as a style sandbox, offering options you wouldn't have sketched. It can democratize access to visual, musical, and narrative expression for people who have ideas but not yet the training. It can clear away repetitive tasks so more energy goes to meaning. The key is authorship by curation. You become the composer of processes, not just the maker of marks. Let's turn to what creators, teams, and teachers can do right now. Start by making process a craft in itself. Ideation, prompting, critique, and revision. Treat the workflow as a composition. Be transparent about the role of AI and the human hand, what you asked, what you changed, what you chose. Evaluate work not only by outputs but by articulated intent, the purpose, the influences, the trade-offs. Commission and reward specificity and embodied perspective, details that only a life can supply. And use AI as a mirror. Compare an AI first pass to your final cut and ask, what did I keep, what did I reject, and what does that say about my voice? We're almost at the heart of the question, so let's pull the threads together. Where does creativity go when AI is involved? It doesn't vanish. It relocates. It shifts from execution to direction, from stroke to structure, from make me a thing, to help me explore so I can decide. When a human artist sets the aim, shapes the constraints, curates the journey, and signs their choices, the creativity remains unmistakably human, even if a machine helped carry the load. And when a machine produces something that moves us, it's because human meanings, somewhere in the loop, were woven into the fabric. As we close, try a different question the next time you encounter a piece and wonder if it's AI made. Whose intention do I feel here? Whose risk? Whose courage? If you can sense a beating heart behind the choices, then creativity hasn't gone anywhere. It has simply found new instruments. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and share.